Here's another one we hear quite a bit, is that the people voted to stop walkouts.
No, they didn't. They voted to make it so if someone had 10 unexcused absences, they were not eligible for re-election in their next cycle.
Right.
That's what it is. And it was a poorly worded initiative. And it was open for all kinds of interpretations, but basically it didn't say don't walk out. It said, if you do walk out 10 times, or if you don't have an excuse 10 times, you can't run again.
Yeah. There's a number of things I want to touch on here. First of all, just as you said, the people didn't say anything about walkouts. They said that if you have 10 unexcused absences, you can't run for re-election. Right. And I think all of you who have 10 unexcused absences know that and have accepted your fate on that.
Yep.
And sure, I think you'd love to possibly come back in 3.5 years and serve maybe another term. But some things are more important. So there's that. If the unions who put that measure on the ballot wanted to actually say we're going to vote to stop walkouts, they could have done that.
There's another way to do it.
They could have said we're going to lower the quorum to 50% plus one person. Yes. They could have done that, and like 46 other states have it like that.
Yeah,
they could have done that.
We didn't.
They didn't. They consciously didn't do that. So
it was tunnel vision on their part, thinking that is what would solve the problem, when they were not looking outside of the scope as to what other states were doing to be able to solve that problem.
Well, you're a nicer
is it
person.
Really a problem?
You're a nicer person than I am. I think what they were doing was they wanted to create political drama and humiliate you. That's what I think they wanted to do. And in the same way, in the meantime, they were also able to do that by making so you couldn't run again.
Yes.
But I don't think they actually thought you'd do this.
No, I don't think they did. And the other thing is, there is one person who decides whether it is an excused absence or not.
Right.
And that is our Senate president.
Right.
And so we have had several issues with people who had excused absences for various reasons before this all happened that were then denied. And there are people that ask for an excuse on Sundays to go to church. And that was also denied.
Right. We're essentially saying, we're laying at the feet of the Senate president. We're saying, we trust you not to be a jerk, not to be an unscrupulous politician, because somebody could have a heart attack and be in the hospital for 10 days. And the Senate president could say, sorry, buddy, unexcused. And make it so they couldn't run for re-election. There's nothing, not one thing to stop him from doing that.
Yes, you're right.
You are just trusting him to be a decent human being. And quite frankly, that's a lot of trust. I think there's a whole lot of problems. And I'll also say I talked to a number of people who said, I voted for that measure. I had no idea this is what this was.
I know. I have had more people say that to me, including my dentist. He said, I had no idea what this was going to do or how this was going to work, but it sure seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, and I think it sounded like a good idea at the time because there was no organized campaign against it. Nobody organized the campaign against it. And the talking point was, if you don't work, you get fired. Well, of course you're going to vote for that. Yes. Who wouldn't vote for that? Right. Unless you realize, well, this is what they're talking about. Right. So the people, the answer to that is the people didn't
But
vote to stop.
here's another little quirk in it. There is a bill that has been brought up, and you can protest your work decision, and in protesting your work assignment or decision, you cannot be denied your job.
You know what?
And I know that that's in dangerous situations. However, how is that different?
What I love is when I saw the Oregon Nurses Association, their union,
Yes.
start blasting you about it, and I thought,
Yeah.
huh. So you mean that if people feel like leadership in their organization and their company is abusing their power and not treating workers well, that they should be able to strike so that they can have which means not go to work,
not go to work,
that they can have better working conditions. Gosh, that sounds remarkably familiar.
Yeah. Hypocrisy at best.
Yeah. So anyway, the people did not vote to stop walkouts. They voted to make it so that legislators who have 10 unexcused absences can't run again. That doesn't stop walkouts. News to SEIU and ACLU and all those folks who thought this was a great idea. You could have just put a quorum measure on. Probably would have passed.
I think it would have.
But you didn't do that. So I think it's easy I think you can say that the people didn't vote for this. We don't know what their opinions are about walkouts. So the whole 73%, every Senate district as opposed to this, that's just not true. And that's just
it's not
a crazy.
And I also know that the people that were collecting signatures to make sure that this got on the ballot were all paid.
Oh, of course.
We had strangers standing in the parking lot here in Safeway, asking for the signature to be able to get that on the ballot. And I remember thinking at the time, since I don't sign those sorts of things, I had to say, who's paying you? Why are you doing this? And what is the harm in what is happening right now? And the young lady who was collecting the signatures basically knew nothing. She just needed the signature.
Yeah. I've had situations where I've walked up to signature gatherers and somebody asked me, I was out of state. I was out of the state. And they said, hey, did you sign this for this, 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 and this? I said, sorry, I'm not a voter in this state. And they say, don't care. I just get paid by the signature.
Yes.
Lovely. So anyway, we've talked about that one a lot. So we should probably move on.